Good morning, everyone. Welcome to week 11. As I mentioned last week when I did my tutorials with you for TS209, I talked about we're going through the labs, and this is a demonstration. So I'll show you the examples and how to use the formula bar, and then I will give you an exercise because this is 10%. You will do the exercises alone on an Excel sheet. Remember that with each totals, you don't use a calculator. You got to put the questions on an Excel sheet and use the formula bar. For example, the shaded areas, and you use the formula bar, which is up here. So for each Excel sheet, just follow my instructions and you won't get it wrong. Because in the exams, you've got a question like this for your final exam, which we will open it to you. You'll attempt it. In using that, you'll have to use the Excel sheet um, and then send it back to me. Upload it on Moodle on an Excel sheet with your name. Upload it with your name and ID number. So the same you do with this. So this is just for an example. Right after this, I'm going to put a lab exercise for you, which you will do it on your own and you'll send it back to me. And I'll give you the closing date. And because I won't extend the date because it's it's like a small test for you that you do during that day. So please take heed. This is on YouTube, and you can listen to it again and do the same exercises that I'm doing. This example, I'll send it to you. This example, you'll do it as an exercise, and then when you get the actual lab exercise, you'll get two. You need to attempt it and send it back to me by Friday this week. Okay, so let's start. This is a financial statement. Obviously, you look at it, you can tell that it's a profit and loss statement. You did that with me in TS108. So you have your total food sales and your total beverage sales. So obviously, when you look at the first block here, you need to work out what is your total sales revenue, and you just add both beverage and food sales. So you press the equal button on your computer. Remember, you don't calculate it with a calculator. You got to use the formula bar, and you click the denoted sales. So total food sales plus, okay, plus. Remember the formula bar. You use the plus sign plus the next cell, right? And then enter. That's your amount. Okay. So if I go back into that, all right, you formulated the formula. It reads D5 plus equals D5 plus D6. So I'll be marking according to that, not the answer. So in this formula bar, I shouldn't see 450, 47, 150,000, 47, $475 because you'll get that wrong. You must calculate the formula bar. For this column here, so you have the revenue, all right, and then you have the expenses column here, okay, and then you have the percentage. When you get the percentage, it allows you as a manager to look at, make decisions and see how you have performed in terms of your food sales and cost of food sales, etc. So we know, obviously, that if you spend more than 38, 39, 40, 45, your cost of food sales is very high. You got to reduce that. So let's work out cost of food sales. And you know that the rule is to find the cost of food sales, all right, you must take that over the total amount of the total cost, the total food sales, and it's like with beverage sales. Okay, so you need to do that. But before we do that, we can add also this one. Yeah, food cost of food sales plus cost of beverage sales and gives you a total. So we go equals, okay, that cell C9 plus C10, enter, and that's the amount we get. Okay, how do we get this amount? Obviously, we know it's the total of total revenue sales or sales revenue or minus total cost of goods sales will give you gross profit. Equals, click into that cell, minus, okay, the cost of goods sold, the total cost, enter, and that's your amount. All right. Now let's look at the percentage. How do we? So it's cost of food sales over total food sales times 100 over 1. Okay. So it's equals that cost of food sales divide by, right? Okay, you can press enter, but it'll give you a percentage value. We don't want that, yeah? You have to hit times 100. We want it as a percentage. Everything must be over 100 so that you know what the percentage value. You might want to put maybe 2 decimal points, so we reduce that to maybe 2 decimal points. The same you do with the next one. Equals cost of beverage sales, okay, over total beverage sales times 100 over 100. And again, we reduce that to 2 decimal points. Or even you want 1 decimal point, that's fine. It does, the computer runs it off, but I'll leave it for 2. Now, you know that labor cost is the most amount of money that's spent in a restaurant operation, the cost of labor. So you got to manage your labor very well. Okay, so you know how to do that one. The total expense is adding each sale here. Okay, so equals add each sale. Or you can do it the fast way where I can just shade all, take them to the bottom, and then sum it up. Okay, so that's my total. So the same thing applies here. But when you do labor cost, it's labor cost over total sales revenue. Okay, not over food sales or beverage sales. So let's do that. Equals total labor cost divide by total sales revenue. Okay, times 100 over 1. Okay, and then you get 4.56. And how do you get your net profit or net loss? You make for the month of April 2020. So you take your gross profit minus your total expense. The formulas will be given to you in the exam, okay? But you will have to know which one to use. So equals gross profit here, okay? Gross profit minus total expenses. Enter. That's your gross profit. Okay. So if you're not, go over this again if you're not quite sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the blank one again. I'm going to give this blank to you, and then you're going to have to do it, and we check your answer because this is being recorded. Now let's look at recipe costing, which I did last week for you, right? In your what I did for you in the what I did for you in the demonstration session last week. So for this one here, we're doing okay, a pineapple pie dish. Okay, pineapple peach pie. Okay, so you have eggs, you have caster sugar, and you'll have to find out for each ingredient in your project. You have to find out. Excuse me. The portion size is 8. Why we say portion size is because if someone wants to buy the whole pie dish, okay, they want to sell like at the Holiday Inn, they can buy the whole pie dish, or they can buy like 2 portions or 1 portion. If you want to sell it as a portion or you want to sell it as a whole dish, it depends. So in your group, the person who has to look for the whichever dish that you choose, you have to look for the actual ingredient. So you can go on YouTube or go on the internet and find the actual ingredient. So the selling price here and the selling price for cost for the portion of the pie and the whole cost is hypothetical, yeah? It's hypothetical. Hold on, let me just see if you can narrow this. Yeah, now you can see it clearly. Okay, so we'll use that. Okay, so the first one I said in you see this column here, we look at the number column. The first quantity required is the amount that you need to bake that actual dish. That's the amount when you look at your ingredients. Even a pinch of salt, a teaspoon, everything you need to calculate. A unit purchase is what you buy them in. Okay, you buy them in 500 grams or 24 eggs, a crate or whatever. And the cost per unit, all right? What's the cost? So for that 600, so that's $1.20, $1.05, $4.20 for that 500 grams. $6.50 for the 24 eggs, but you want only 8 eggs, so you have to calculate the cost of the 8 eggs. It's the unit cost per, all right, per unit. And then to get that, you'll have to work out the recipe costing, which is on this column. So A, B, C, D, all the way up to K. What I talked about the hypothetical, this is selling price is hypothetical. I'm just putting it there so that you can work out how much gross profit you make. Okay, you sell it for that amount. But we want to find out the cost per for this dish. Okay, so let's look at per item. Let me take all that out. Let's look A. Okay, this is how you calculate it. Quantity required divided by unit purchase times unit cost. All right, quantity required divided by unit purchase times unit cost. Okay, so let's work that out. Equals, just remember you have to use the formula bar. Click onto the cell, divide by unit purchase. Okay. Okay, put that in bracket. It's good to put it in bracket so that you know that you're dealing with that. Times, okay, unit cost. Enter. And then you get that amount. Okay, you can reduce that. Okay, you can reduce that to maybe 2, yeah, because you'll have $2.17. You want the actual cost there, so just 2 decimal places. Same thing with that. Okay, delete that equals quantity required divide by unit purchase times unit cost. Okay, so you get the formulas for all of that. Okay, you get the separate formulas. The total cost is just actually totaling all this together. Add all that, but you still have to use the formula bar. So your total cost of doing that pineapple peach pie is $10.34. You're adding all this, but I've just given you the formula for each. So for each ingredient, you have to work out the formula. So that's 3 decimal point. You reduce it to 2 so that it becomes 32 cents. Okay, so $10.34 is your total cost. How do I get my cost per portion? Remember, you got 8 portions there. 8 portions. So all you do is take 10.34, okay, equals, because that's the whole pie. The cost of the whole pie is $10.34. Divide by 8 portions, and you want to know the cost of 1 portion. The cost per portion, 1 portion is $1. Let me reduce the 2 decimal places. $1.29. Now let's look at how do I calculate the gross of the whole pie. So we're selling the pie. Okay, hold on. We're selling the pie for $22, and the cost of our pie is $10.34. How much gross profit? Okay, so we do equals. Remember, you have to use the formula bar. 22, which is F17, less, okay, minus $10.34. Enter. So our gross profit is $11.66. When you take out the labor, electricity, etc., then you'll get your net profit. Right, let's look at the gross profit per portion. So the cost of 1 portion is $1.29, right? And we're selling that portion for $8. Okay, so equals here, equals 8, the selling price. So the gross profit is selling price minus cost price, right? Less cost price. All right, what's the cost price? $1.29. So the gross profit is $6.71. Yeah, so that has to show in your project on the Excel sheet. Remember, I said go from Word and insert Excel, and your should be very your on your project should be very simple. All right, should be very simple and also neat and very presentable like this. Remember, decimal points. Align your figures to the center. Bold. All right, it all has to. Presentation is also very part of your project submission. Okay, so we did the profit and loss account, we did the recipe costing, and now we do ratios and yield. Okay, and I think you did this in your TS108 session, but we did it with calculators. Remember in TS108? For 209, you do this on the computer. So you find out A, B, okay, these are the ones A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Okay, so remember, I'm going to throw this back to you for all these. You got to do it on your own as practice, and then I'm going to send you tomorrow I'm going to send you um, the uh, the um, the labs. You got two labs that you have to submit, because remember the labs are 10%. You have to they're both on Excel sheet, and you have to submit them before Friday. Okay, so they'll be opened only on you'll have no. Hold on, sorry. They'll be open on Thursday and close. Yeah, well, I'll only open it on Thursday, so you'll do these as an exercise, and then um, one will be due on Thursday, and the next one will be due on Friday. Okay, so lab 1 will be due on Thursday, lab 2 will be due on Friday, and I'll give it to you. They'll be open on Thursday morning. Thursday morning, um, sorry, yeah, they'll be open on Thursday morning and the Friday morning for you, so that you have time to do them. Okay, so one will be open Thursday, Thursday morning midnight and Friday morning midnight. Okay, so you have at least like 24 hours to do them. Yeah, so a whole 24 hours. So they're not hard. Okay, one of the first things you work before you go to A, you can work out C. How do we get C? It's just adding these two, the total food sales and total beverage sales. Okay, so equals add that cell plus C5, C4 plus C5, enter. All right, simple as that. Excuse me. You remember the denominator is always over the total sales. So how do I work out the percentage? When you look at the monetary value, it's very hard to see how much you spent on food and beverage sales, but to categorize them, you always take it over the denominator, which is the total sales. So you take for A, okay, A is equals food sales over total sales. Okay, how much over it over total sales equals, click C4, 25,300, divide by 61,000, all right, which is your total sales, times 100, because you want the percentage value. All right, so that's what you get. I need to see the formulas on the formula bar. You can reduce that to 2 decimal points. So basically, when you read it, it says we spent on food sales, we spent 41.4% or 48% on our total as compared to our beverage sales, which we're going to work on now. So you delete that, equals your beverage sales divide by total sales. Okay, total sales times 100, and then you get 58. So obviously we spent more on beverage than food. Okay, you'll get this exercise. I'll give them back to you. So we reduce them to 2 decimal places. Now how do we work out? For here we got the opposite, right? We got the opposite here. So to find, you got the percentage value, you need to find the monetary value. So it just tells us that 33%, okay, was the cost of food sales that we spent. 33% was the cost of food sales. All right, was the cost. So I need to find how much of that 33%, how much did we spend on the food sales. So it's vice versa. So you press equals, okay, equals, right? 25,000, okay, that the food, times, okay, times asterisk 33%, right? And that's how much you spent. Okay, sorry, divide by, sorry, I have to go back here. So it's just the opposite of that one. Divide by 100, sorry, divide by 100. You have to do, because the top one here, this where this value here was times 100. See, times, for the bottom value here, when you look at the, it's opposite of that, we divide by 100. So the same thing you do with E. So it means, basically means that out of that 25,000, 8,349 was spent on the cost of food to produce that 25,300. The same we do here with E. So equals beverage sales, all right, times 19, right, divide by 100. I'm going to do it very slowly, for you. So it basically means that 35,000 sales we made, 6,783 was the cost. So you take that away from that. Yeah. So how? It's a very easy one. How do you get F? It's basically totaling this cost of food sales and cost of beverage sales. So you just do equals that plus 6783. Enter. That's it. So to work out G, we go backward, like how we did that one on the top here. It's divide by 100. When we worked out this one, we had to times it by 100. But going back to this one, we had to divide by 100. So you use this as the denominator, total sales. So it's this value. Okay, let's go back there. Equals, okay, 15,132 divide by 61,000, right? Times, all right, 100. And then you get your percentage value, which means that it tells you that 24%, 24.81%, all right, was the total cost of the food and beverage sales. And obviously you knew what gross profit was because we did that in our earlier lab with the recipe costing and profit and loss. Okay, equals, it's the total food cost sales minus the total sales, right? So the cost minus total sales will be give you a gross profit. So equals, all right, 61,000 less 15,132. That's your gross profit. How do we calculate I, the percentage of gross profit? Always the denom over the denominator. Always over the denominator. So equals 45,868 divide by 61,000 times, okay, times 100. Sorry, I must have did something wrong there. Let me do that again. Sorry. So equals, divide by, yeah. So that's your, you lessen the denomination. So we can say here that the gross profit is 71.75.19% was the gross profit of the total sales, what you made as a gross. Okay, 71. So that's quite a lot of gross that you made for that particular function or month. All right, so profit and loss statement. So I'm gonna send this back to you now. I'll use this as a, I'll put in the Dropbox. I know I'll upload it on the assessment on the week 11. Week 11, as I'll put it as an Excel lab example on week 11. Look for it. It's going to be in Excel. You do it as an exercise purpose, or I'll actually put it on message. It'll be right down. It's attached below here in this message. All right. So you do it as an exercise. I'll take the formulas out and everything, and then I'm going to give you the time the lab's available. So lab 1 will be available on early Thursday morning at 12 midnight, or let's say 5 past 12, and it'll be due late on Thursday evening. Friday is lab 2, so you must submit it according to those times, because otherwise you miss out on your 10%. Each value is 5% each. Okay? All right, all the best and have a great week. Remember, we don't have tutorials this week. This is your tutorial, lab tutorials. This is the lab tutorials you'll have for this week. Okay? And then I will put out on a Thursday. I will put out your questions. I'll put a time where we'll meet on Thursday where everybody will be asked to join in, because we'll put out your exam. I'll talk about your exam, the format. I'll talk about and I'll give you your exam questions this Thursday, because you have time to research it and how to do it, etc. So I'll give you the time shortly, but just log on, just uh, just do this exercise for now. All right. Don't worry about the exam questions. We'll talk about that. Okay. All the best for this week, and please do these labs. Thank you.